Today on Locked On A's, the Rays are the latest team interested in Sean Murphy, so what could a trade with them look like? And then the A's have some new coaches. One I'm very excited about in their new bullpen coach, Mike McCarthy, and then Darren Bush got promoted, so I'm going to defend that move, but it might be the death of me, but I'm going to defend that move. Let's get into it. How's it going, A's fans? And welcome to episode 497 of the Locked On A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, noted baseball fan Jason Burke, and on today's show, we're talking about Sean Murphy getting traded again because that's the A's offseason thus far. But then we're also going to be talking about a new signee. Oh, not really. They brought in a new coach, and I'm very excited about it. I'm going to try and get you guys excited about Mike McCarthy as well. And then Darren Bush, he's been around for a minute. He's the new bench coach, and I'm going to tell you why I think that probably is fine. So we're going to get into all that stuff today. But before we get into anything, thank you so much for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube. So go to YouTube and subscribe and comment and do things that you do on YouTube. You know what to do. And also, make sure to follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at ByJasonB on Twitter. And make sure to go check out Inside the A's. It's a new A's site that I run in affiliation with Sports Illustrated. And it's a pretty good site, I gotta say. We're on top of a lot of things. So if you want some A's content, that is the place to go. Inside the A's on Twitter and on Facebook, so you never miss an article over there. But let's talk about the Rays showing interest in Sean Murphy. And you've probably seen the tweet by now if you're, a big A's fan like myself. And John Morosi tweeted out that the Rays have shown interest in Sean Murphy. And let's be clear. Showing interest means nothing to me. I am interested in Shohei Ohtani. That does not mean he is coming to Oakland. That's just how that works. It's the same thing like when the A's put in an offer in for land in Las Vegas. I was like, that doesn't mean anything. You could give them $1, and that's an offer. It doesn't mean anything. You got to say like, yeah, they have exchanged names of players that would be in a potential deal. So let's start with that. That said, the Rays could use a catcher, so it makes a lot of sense. Rays catchers, I want to make sure that I get these right. Combined, and granted, the A's traded one of their catchers, Christian Bethancourt, in exchange for Cal Stevenson and a minor league pitcher. He was part of this group for like half the season. But anyways, combined, they hit 228 with a 248 on base as a group behind the dish. That is a terrible group of catchers they have. They had Francisco Mejia, once a top-ranked prospect, and he is no longer that. Him and Christian Bethancourt were the two best catcher options. Mike Zunino wasn't very good. And then there's somebody else, and didn't bother remembering that guy's name. So the Rays could use some help behind the dish, and Sean Murphy would be a very nice upgrade, being that he is arguably the second best catcher in baseball. So yeah, that'd be good. And the Rays have prospect capital, so what would that trade potentially look like? I'm starting off with take your pick of one of these first basemen. The Rays could choose, the A's could choose. It doesn't matter. I'm happy with either one, but I'm choosing a first baseman because the White Sox rumors all circulate around Andrew Vaughn and the kind of bat that he is. A first baseman, kind of, who plays okay at the position, but he's a good bat. He doesn't strike out a lot. He has some power, and both of these guys from the Rays are in that same ilk. And I think that if the A's are interested in Andrew Vaughn, why not Andrew Vaughn with more team control? Because that's what I'm getting for you guys. Jonathan Aranda, he is 24 years old. He is a left-handed bat, and he up until 2020 had a sub 20% strikeout rate all across the minor leagues. He struck out a little bit more this season, like 24, 26%, somewhere in there. But he also hit a lot more home runs. So I'm sure that he's going to get acclimated and be okay as he, adjusts to the major league lifestyle and just play in general. But he was really good last year. He has a good hit tool, and he is not a free agent until after the 2028 season, which is a long ways away. So he'd be an upgrade over Andrew Vaughn, I think, because those extra 2 years of control. And also, he's not arbitration eligible for 3 years, so there's that. He seems like a very nice bat. He has a little bit of experience at the big league level. He didn't do particularly great, but first stint, that's okay. I know that I say this about a lot of guys that the A's acquire: Kevin Smith, Kirby Snead, Christian Pache, but I don't really care until they get to Oakland. And then I'm like, oh no, now it's an issue. Oh, let's see. But I think that he's going to be fine. He's going to be good. Fangraphs has him as the number 5 prospect in the Rays system and as a top 100 prospect, I believe, number 74 overall. So he's a legit guy. He's got some pop. He's got some power. He's on the rise. He hasn't quite made a name for himself yet, and he could be the Rays' starting first baseman in 2023 because they traded G-Man Choi, and they don't have a lot of other first basemen on their roster currently. You could put like Yandy Diaz or there's some other guys, but none of them are like first baseman necessarily. Maybe like Curtis Mead. I don't know. You could put some guys there, but I would assume that Jonathan Aranda is probably the plan currently, unless the A's also include like Seth Brown or something like that in a potential trade. Or, they could include whoever. They could include Dermis Garcia, and that would make things easier, I guess. But anyways, the other first baseman that I want to talk about is Kyle Manzardo, who is 22 years old, so 2 years younger than even Aranda. And he hit 22 home runs in between high A and double A. So he's a little bit younger, and hasn't made his big league debut yet, but he's probably knocking on the door for triple A. As I said, he's 22 years old, and he hit 327 between those two spots last year and had a 426 on base. I know they're lower minors and mid minor, high minor sets combined. So there's that. But MLB Pipeline said that his floor is a 290 hitter with 20 plus home run pop. That is a heck of a floor, and I would like some of that floor, please. I should go to Lowe's and get some floor. Anyways, Kyle Manzardo, yeah, he's solid. I liked that. He is according to Fangraphs, their number 6 prospect in the Rays system, and also just one behind Jonathan Aranda in the top 100 overall. So I believe it was 75 and 76 overall. So we're talking about comparable guys here that play the same position. One of them could probably be moved. Which one do the A's want? Ooh, intrigue. I don't care. I want both of them, and we'll figure it out later. From there, I go pitcher, because the A's have to have a pitcher in every deal. And not a high ceiling on this guy, but I'm intrigued by this guy. It looks like he could play in the big leagues before too long, and that is Mason Montgomery, because he had 171 strikeouts in 124 innings pitched. That is good for that's not good for a 2.10 ERA, but it led to a 2.10 ERA, and that was between high A and double A. He has good control. He doesn't walk a lot of guys. His fastball sits 90 to 94, and he has 3 solid pitches. None of them are elite, but he has 3 solid pitches that he can control, and that should lead him to have, at least some sort of a career in the big leagues, and that's fine. MLB Pipeline projects him as a 4th or 5th starter, and, I'm okay with that. Honestly, I'm fine with that, because you always need guys that are good, and he is good, I think. So Mason Montgomery, I like it. And then also you could pair him with Mason Miller, who is an A's prospect who is great, and it's probably going to be a top 5 prospect for the A's on MLB Pipeline once those things get figured out. But you got the 2 MM boys. I don't have a thing for them. I don't have a tagline for the MM boys, but MM men? I don't know. I like it. They're both named Mason as well, so there's that. And then the final guy, and this is kind of the wild card pick, and that is Junior Caminero, who is 19 years old. He was acquired from Cleveland during Tampa Bay's roster crunch of 2021 because they have too many good players. And they're like, I don't know, we need a guy with more controlled. It won't be susceptible to the Rule 5 draft. And they're like, here's a guy, Cleveland, give us Junior Caminero. And so they did. He is the number 4 Rays prospect on Fangraphs, and he has huge bat speed. That is his main calling card right now, is his bat speed, and that is what they're going on and giving him the number 4. He has elite bat speed, like Ronald Acuna Jr. bat speed. That's a comp that they threw out there, was Ronald Acuna Jr. bat speed. So there's that. They also said that it's all everything's gonna be determined by how he controls the strike zone. If he's just a free swinger, it's probably not gonna work out for him, even with the good bat speed. But if he can wait for his pitch and do whatever he needs to do into the zone to, control the zone, holy crap, what a prospect. I want some of that as well. So Junior Caminero by no means is a sure thing, but that potential. He's also top 100 prospect. So in this deal, from my perspective, the A's would get 2 top 100 prospects, not top 50 prospects, top 100 prospects, like 75 or 76 and like 90th overall in baseball. But that's I think arguably enough for Sean Murphy. Maybe you throw in one other guy like Vidal Brujan, who has struggled in the big leagues, and seems like the Rays might be fine getting rid of him. If he's like a sweetener piece or like an add-on piece just to give the Rays some more roster flexibility, sure, bring him to Oakland, see what he does. I don't care. I'd be intrigued to see if, a change of scenery could do it. He'd be like the Christian Pache of this deal if he was included, hopefully, like in the way that I've constructed it. Not like if they make any deal, but the way that I've constructed it, he would be like the Christian Pache, where it's like, maybe he pans out, maybe he doesn't. Let's see. Because he's already had a couple of years of big league experience, hasn't done terribly well, but his strikeout rate it went down a decent amount. And he also learned how to, walk a little bit too in 2022. So we'll see what happens here, but the Rays aren't the worst trading partner. I'm intrigued, and I talked to the Locked On Rays host, Ulysses Zambrano, and he said that the Rays love their prospects, and he doesn't know if they'd want to give up Manzardo, but I want him. So there's that. I'm also fine with Jonathan Aranda, because the A's aren't signing anybody. Who cares if he's 30 when he hits free agency? That's fine. Whatever. So that's the trade that I laid out. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments below if you're on YouTube, or if you're not on YouTube, go to YouTube and let me know in the comments below. But coming up, we're going to be talking about some new coaching positions that have been filled. So we're going to do that in just a second. But first, BetOnline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Ooh, wait, hold on. You need a banner for this one, because that's what BetOnline, they're banner worthy. Okay, let's start that one again. BetOnline is your .net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball to soccer and esports. We've got it all at betonline.net. I don't know when you're listening to this, but the USA men's football soccer team is, if they win, I believe, if I'm doing the math right, they advance. They advance in the World Cup. So we're rooting for a win against Iran on Tuesday at 11 o'clock local time, or our local time, not theirs. So yeah, go soccer, I guess. It's been interesting so far. Anyways, and if you love sports podcasts, and I'm guessing you do because you're listening to one right now, you can also find those over at betonline.net. They have the fastest and easiest way for you to get your betting fix. So head to the website today, or use your mobile device to learn more, because BetOnline, my friends, that is where the game starts. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you like to hear podcasts. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm by Jason B on Twitter. And make sure to follow Inside the A's on Twitter and on Facebook so you never miss an article, because there is some good stuff over there. I have a writer, Felita, and she wrote a piece talking about the guys that are playing winter ball right now. So I need to post that, but it's coming to Inside the A's. And if you're interested in how some of the A's are doing in winter ball, go check that out. So that'll be up in the morning, on Tuesday morning. But let's talk about some of the coaching changes. Most everybody's staying where they were So there's no surprises there. As we talked about before, Brad Ausmus is out as bench coach. He decided to leave, which makes sense because he's a former manager and he was kind of just getting his feet wet again in the big leagues. And so we did that, and maybe he thought that Mark Kotsay would be fired because the A's would be bad, but that's not how the A's roll. So that it did not happen, and now he's going to go do other things. I think I read that he might try to do front office role, but we'll see. Anyways, let's talk about the thing that I'm excited about here, and that is Mike McCarthy, not the football coach, but the bullpen coach for the Oakland A's. He is coming over from the El Paso Chihuahuas. That's the San Diego Padres AAA affiliate. He's also spent time with the Minnesota Twins, so there's that. He's interesting. And I need to write down some stats real quick. So I want to do that. And I'll be back. It's gonna be a weird edit, but I'll be right back. The beauty of being able to pause in the middle of a recording. Anyways, so yeah, Mike McCarthy. He spent some time with the Twins doing some of their stuff. He's also 34 years old, which rude. He's younger than me. And when the coaches start being younger than you, you're old. I don't like that, Mike. But I'm excited about you coming to Oakland and seeing what you can do, because I read an article on Fangraphs that he was interviewed a couple months ago, the very end of August, and that got me so excited about the addition of Mike McCarthy, because he is a forward-thinking guy. He's looking at everything analytically. He wants to use lots of numbers, lots of graphs, and other assorted techniques. I'm not going to get too nerdy with you guys, but holy crap. He mentioned some things. I'm like, I don't know what that is. All right, cool. So I will link to that down in the show notes on the audio version of this, so you can read the article for yourself if you would like. But Mike McCarthy, he really helped Tyler Duffy, is what I took away from that article, because they asked for an example of somebody that he had helped, and holy crap, did he help Tyler Duffy? They didn't mention any of the stats in the article, so I looked them up for myself. Tyler Duffy, in 2018, in 25 innings pitched at the big league level with the Twins, he had a 7.20 ERA, a 6.8 strikeouts per nine, and a 1.4 walks per nine. Not a great, small sample size, but still not great. In 2019, after, the A's new bullpen coach, Mike McCarthy, got to him and said, hey, maybe throw your curveball harder, because you can do that, right? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. So he threw his curveball harder, and he threw 57 and 2/3 innings pitched, had a 2.50 ERA, so down almost 5 full runs, and he also almost doubled his strikeout rate to 12.8 Ks per nine. His walk rate went up to 2.2, but that's still very manageable, and that got me very excited, and I just started brainstorming about guys on the A's that he could really do wonders for currently. There's Rico Garcia, who was a minor league free agent that the A's went out and signed. I talked about him recently. He has a good strikeout rate in the minor leagues, like 9 per 9. That's not bad. But in the big leagues, it's gone down to, it's like halved. So I assume that he's going to look at some pitch data from Rico Garcia and be like, hey, can you do this? And he's going to be like, yeah, sure. And then Rico Garcia is going to be the closer immediately. So there's that. Also Kirby Snead. He's a guy who has lots of movement on his pitches. I already projected him to be the A's breakout performer for 2023. So I'm going to give credit to Mike McCarthy for making that happen. So thanks to Mike McCarthy, and go Kirby Snead. Very excited about that. That's 2 bullpen options for you guys. But I also got a starter option for you as well, and that is Adrian Martinez, who has a nasty changeup. But I think that they're going to work together. They're going to figure out how to get that changeup to be the nasty pitch that they need it to be. And I'm excited for what is to come for those 3 guys. And he also says that the guys that he has had the most success with, or the best players that he's worked with, are just inquisitive guys that want to get better and, take in new information and do all that stuff. And that feels like Cole Irvin to a degree. Cole Irvin is a competitive guy, and he wants to do what he can to get better, and he knows what he's good at. And that was also part of what Mike McCarthy was saying, is somebody that knows themselves and what they can and cannot do, and blah, 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 blah. So, Cole Irvin is another. I think that the A's pitching might actually be good next year, because Mike McCarthy is a genius. We're going to find out. I don't know. But the reason that this gets me excited, not because the A's are going to be good in 2023. That's not necessarily the case. But this is the kind of move that other teams make. that the A's don't do a whole ton of. I mean, they had like a rocket scientist, but sure, I guess. This seems more like a thing that might have like actual results. And so I'm intrigued to see what happens here. I imagine that it'll be good. I'm hopeful that it'll be good. I don't know that it'll be good, but I feel like all the other teams have like a bunch of these guys, and now the A's have one. And yes, now who's in the big leagues? Triple A's my butt. Anyways, coming up, I'm gonna say why Darren Bush as the bench coach is probably the right call. So we're gonna get into that here in just 1 second. If you've thought about securing your home with home security but have been putting it off, you'll want to listen up. Right now, Locked On A's listeners can order the #1 rated Simply Safe home security system for 50% off. This is their biggest offer of the year, and you won't want to miss it. Simply Safe was named the best home security system of 2022 by US News and World Report. That's the third year in a row that they have gotten that award. And in an emergency, 24/7 professional monitoring agents use Fast Protect technology exclusively from Simply Safe to capture critical evidence and verify that the threat is real so you can get priority police response. And who doesn't want to feel like a priority when your safety is on the line? So don't miss your chance to save big on the only security system that I recommend. Get 50% off of any new Simply Safe system at simplysafe.com/lockedonmlb today. This is their biggest discount of the year, so do not wait. That's simplysafe.com/lockedonmlb. There's no safe like a Simply Safe. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show and you've made it this far, leave us a comment on YouTube or, give us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to this. Also, make sure to follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at ByJasonB on Twitter. Make sure to follow Inside the A's on Twitter and on Facebook so you never miss an article over there. It's great content over at Inside the A's. Very proud. But let's talk about Darren Bush, and I'm going to defend him, which is something that is weird because A's fans do not like Darren Bush. And it's mostly, I'm going to say, because he was the A's hitting coach when the A's were good, and they didn't always get hits. So that seemed like a Darren Bush problem, according to A's fans. And I don't know what the data is on how effective hitting coaches are, but if you have a good offense, then you're a good hitting coach. And if you don't, then... But things are weird and random sometimes, and so, sure, sometimes things just don't work out. So Darren Bush, I don't know. The A's seem to like him, so there's that. And so I'll just go with, he's there. He's going to be around for a while. So, yay, Darren Bush. But I'm going to say that this is probably the right move. Not that I don't know what the bench coach necessarily does for the team. It's whatever. It'll be fine. It's second in command, sure. And it makes sense, and it's the right move because he was in contention to be the A's actual manager before the 2022 season. McCarthy won that gig, and then Darren Bush was the third base coach / run prevention coach. So yeah, I guess it makes sense to have Darren Bush be this guy now. Maybe it was, a handshake deal beforehand. This is speculation or just me talking out loud. But maybe before the 2022 season, they're like, hey, we should get Mark Kotze, somebody who, has some experience and could be, a solid bench coach for him and, help implement his rules and do all these things and whatnot. And so they went with Brad Ausmus, and now Brad Ausmus is gone, and they're like, Darren Bush, this is the next stop for you is the bench coach. That makes sense. So, I mean, the A's really like Darren Bush is what I'm going to go with. They enjoy him. He's been around a while. They seem to reward loyalty, which, sure. So I'm going to go ahead and say, it makes sense that he's the bench coach. It's probably not going to have a huge impact negatively or positively on the A's because the A's are probably not going to be terribly good. Maybe they win 70 games, and maybe Darren Bush is the reason why they do or do not. That'll be a fun discussion on Twitter throughout the season. But it makes sense. I'm not going to say it was the right move because I don't care. But I will say it makes sense because he was in contention to be the A's actual manager for, I don't know, eternity. The A's don't have like a lot of managers, so eternity. Let's go with that. And now he's just the second in command. And maybe this will get him poached by... See, if you're anti-Darren Bush, maybe this is actually a good thing for you, because if he does a really good job, then he's going to get poached by another team, and Joe Espada will still not be a manager, but Darren Bush, by dog, on will be. And so there's that. So, yeah. There's the silver lining, I guess, if you don't like Darren Bush, is... maybe it works out for the best later on. But it makes sense. That's all I'm going to go with. That's my big take, is it makes sense. Boom. Also, we got an email from our channel coordinator today saying that in December we're going to have a take contest. And we're going to have to have good takes. And so I'm trying to come up with great takes for you guys that are both wild and also can be supported with logic and facts. And right now, all I've got is the A's signing like Rico Garcia or any of the minor league guys that they have signed are going to be better deals for the A's than wherever Aaron Judge signs, because here's my reasoning. They all have places that they could improve and be better. And Aaron Judge hit 62 home runs, and I doubt that he's going to break that next year. So obviously, the A's are getting the better deal right there. So boom. So that's the take that I'm working on right now, and it's not great. So if you have any other takes, I really would like to win this competition. They're giving away like tickets and like boxes of cards and stuff. So yeah, let me know what your takes are, and I will sell the crap out of them. I will even give you credit for them on the show. And also tag you and stuff on Twitter. But yeah, that's it. That's what I got coming up for you guys. Coming up at Inside the A's, I really want to write this article and hopefully make this an entire podcast show for tomorrow if the baby hasn't been sleeping. So I don't know. If the baby sleeps, I'm going to write this thing. But it's basically who's the best prospect that the A's can get. There's a bunch of suitors for Sean Murphy. Which team offers the best overall prospect? Who is the best player that the A's could get in a trade? I'm intrigued. I don't know the answer yet because I've only written a few of these. And I like Mason Wynn. He's not a sure thing. I like these first basemen from the Rays, but they're also first basemen. So I don't know. So I'm going to have to struggle with that a little bit, but hopefully that is something that comes your way, if not tomorrow, then later this week, because it's been churning up here for a few days, but this baby will not take a bottle from me. And it's harrowing. I don't like it. Anyways, that's all that I got for you guys baseball-wise. I could talk about the child forever, but let's finish talking about baseball by saying thank you so much for making Locked On A's your first listen. For your next listen, go check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. It's the biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Locked On Sports Today is available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get podcasts. Basically, wherever you're listening to this, go check that one out. It's a good time. I gotta say, good time. I don't have to say that. I am saying it. It is a good time, you guys. Anyways, that's all that I got for you guys today. Make sure to follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at ByJasonB on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's because there's articles coming for you guys all the time, including winter ball stuff. So if you want to know how the A's are doing winter ball, go to Inside the A's because we got it over there. Also, make sure to follow or subscribe to our YouTube channel over at YouTube. It's Locked On A's. I feel like I've said that a lot. You should know that by now. Anyways, that's all for me today. So until next time, go out and celebrate good times, A's fans, and I will talk at you tomorrow.